very blessed day, everyone. Greetings to you in the name of the Father, the Creator, the Most High, Allah, YHWH, Elohim, God in our modern day, and in the name of the Lord Thoth, Melchizedek, Jehovah. This is Neophyte DAG bringing you another message taken from the 2022, is actually 2012 series. Thou art rich, O children of Israel. Your knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is rich in the bank of heaven. And in this message, we're going to continue with the Black Messiah and the Black 144,000 elect saints. We had covered in part 1 the Black Messiah, where we spent some time going over the Black Messiah. I'm just going to do a quick recap to show you who he is so you can follow along the rest of this message. We took it from the Third Testament, the book of True Life, chapter 2, verse 41, which tells us Elijah is going to be a forerunner to all the things that are happening now. The time moving up to the great and dreadful day. So you have to be on the lookout for Elijah. And I already identified for you in part 1 who Elijah was. So we're not going to spend a lot of time on Elijah. So what I've done, I've tell my brethren that Elijah is walking among you. He is in the human flesh walking among us right now. So I just pointed him out to you so you can go and cleave on to the information that Elijah is prophesied as having to give to you, to deliver to you at this time. Moving on, it took us to Malachi 4 verse 5, which tells us Elijah the prophet shall come. He shall come before the great and dreadful day. And in this, I showed you how we got to Elijah. If you need more information on who Elijah is, Prince Louis J. Jerome Armstrong. That's Elijah at our time. The information is here. You can go through it. Go back to part 1. It will give you all you need to know on Elijah. Moving forward, Malachi 4 verse 5 again tells you, prophesy to you. You have to use your belief now to find out what the Most High and the Lord is telling you at this time that you need to know. Behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day. The great and dreadful day of the Lord. Great for those who heard this message, got themselves ready because they believed. And they went over to Elijah and got his information. Louis Jerome Armstrong, Prince Louis Jerome Armstrong. They went over there, got the information from the Prince Louis, and made themselves ready to be a part of the great. Or they can ignore the message and be a part of the dreadful. I want you to be a part of the great. So go back to part 1. Go back to where you can find Louis Jerome Armstrong. Listen to his message, because that's Elijah at your time. The Black Messiah, Prince Louis. Now we move to anagrams and transliteration. We covered those in part 1. Anagram is rearranging words so you don't know what a word means because it's been scrambled and you don't have the code to unscramble it. Transliterate is spelling words using the same letters, but you rearrange them. You put them all over the place in different order. But if you unscramble that literation, you will transliterate it to the right meaning. Those are what covered in your Bible. Your Bible is a coded book. It has a whole lot of anagrams. It's been transliterated and it has deep esoteric meanings. So you can't look on the surface and get what you need. You have to apply pardes, and you have to have the keys. And that's what Elijah was sent here to give us the keys so we can unlock many of the scriptures in the Bible that is supposed to make us ready at this time. So that's why it's very important for you to cleave on to Elijah. Prince Louis Jerome Armstrong. Find him, because it was told to you, I shall send you Elijah before that great and dreadful day, so you can make yourself ready for the great part. These are all the names given in the Holy Bible for Elijah, which is Louis Jerome Armstrong. These are all the names scattered across the Bible. You have to remember, the Bible is a coded book telling the same stories in different ways. No matter which book you go to, all leading back to the same particular story. So they gave the characters in each of the story, because it's the same story, different names. They anagrammed the name for you, so you wouldn't be able to pull it out until the keys are given. That's what the Messiah, the Son of Man, the messenger, has to come and give you that message to uncode the book and to use your sound mind, because the Most High gave you a sound mind, the power that He has, and love. So you have to use the sound mind to go in and evaluate, using your sound mind, is this person Elijah or not? Is this person saying things that can deliver me? Because that's what the Messiah is supposed to do. A lot of us have been stuck on Jesus because we got that story handed down to us all the way from we were young until now. But we got the white Jesus version of it, man hanging on a cross, and then you're going to be raptured away. Big event come and you're raptured away. No preparation whatsoever. You just get raptured away. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work. That's an academic fraud and a menticide program that we were on. We're off that program because the Messiah, Prince Louis, is now here. So we don't have to go by what the Gentiles have told you about a Gentile Messiah coming to deliver you. That's all false. The Messiah is here to deliver everyone, Jews and Gentiles alike. Everyone shall be delivered that cleave on to the words and believe in the Most High and the Lord. But in dealing with Jesus, there was no J. The J was created for you. So you have to use your sound mind and ask yourself, if there was no J, what was the name or the letter before they made the J? They gave it to you. It was Lesos. But then that's the Greek version. What was Lesos before the Greeks changed it when they get it from the Egyptian? These are the questions that you have to use your sound mind, because every time you check the J, it always leads back to Jesus. They created that J to give you Jesus, to throw you off during the time of your menticide, during the time of academic frauds running around. Now we're taking away the draft cards from the frauds. And now the true messengers of the Most High and the Lord are coming through, giving you message. So they changed it, their version of it, from Losos in Greek, Lesos in Latin, and then they changed it to Joshua, and they changed it to Yeshua. All kind of different names to confuse you, so you wouldn't know that Elijah is Louis Jerome Armstrong, a person of color, a black man. Where is the Messiah supposed to pop up? Where is the Messiah supposed to be and deliver his message? Where should he be? Where should he be? They shall seek for a sign, but they won't get the sign. They shall seek and wonder what those signs are. That's the wicked looking for the sign. But there shall be no sign given to them except the sign of Jonah in Nineveh. And you have to know by now that Nineveh is a code name for a city in the United States of America. Go back to my messages that tells you all the code names for America, and it will give you some light on where the Son of Man is going to be. But the book is right here in front of you telling you, Messiah Agadoth, that's the Hebrew name of the Messiah, the Black Messiah, that's supposed to come where? Where is he going to appear? In the Garden of Eden. What is the Eden? Bird's nest, the place where the eagles rest. Which country represents itself as the eagles right now? America. That's where the eagles rest, and that's where the eaglets live. That's the European people that came across from Rome. Jerome supplanted themselves into North America, took over the emblem of the eagles and carried over with them. That's where he's supposed to appear. He will appear in Galilee, not Galilee over in Egypt. No way, but the ancient Galilee was the ancient continent of America. They just duplicated the names in Egypt when they moved, when they supplanted themselves out of America into Egypt. Same names got carried over, but it doesn't change the fact that he's going to appear in Galilee, which is America, the holy city of the high priest of the Most High, the Lord Melchizedek, Jehovah Thoth. America is where the Messiah shall be, and the people of the 144,000, they have to be in America where the Messiah is going to deliver them. Daniel 9 verse 25 tells you about the Messiah, the time in which he will come forward spiritually. I covered that in the first part on the Messiah. No need to repeat it here, but I want you to know that 62 weeks, which is 62 years after his birth, that's when he shall come forth spiritually for the first time. That occurred in March 25th, 2017. But what I want to bring to your attention is Daniel 9 verse 26. Because after that 62 years, the Messiah shall be cut off. They shall take him off mainstream medias, mainstream YouTube. That's why he's so hard to find. They algorithmed him. So all his information is not being put forward so you can see it. So other messengers who have found the messenger have to let you know where to find him. Louis J. Armstrong, the Prince, go find your Messiah and go cleave on to the words of your Messiah. But he shall be cut off, but we shall find him. He shall be cut off, but we shall locate him. He shall be cut off, but we'll search and find him. Not for himself, he won't cut himself off. Why would he cut himself off from his people? No, the mainstream cut him off because they want to make sure you stay glued and connected to that white Jesus, that the name they created for you and gave you a crucifixion story. No, we're done with that. But the people, we're getting back to this 144, the people, the elects and saints of the Prince, the elects and saints of the Messiah, what shall they do? They shall destroy all that wickedness that's going on in America first, then the rest of the world. And the sanctuary, all that unholy, all that demonic stuff, all that wickedness, all that starving of people, all that keeping people under bondage, they shall destroy it. The people, the elects, the saints, the 144,000 that's running around out there in America, waiting for their fathers to switch them on, waiting for their Father and the Lord to switch them on. And the end thereof shall be with a flood, shall be with a flood, shall be with a flood. And unto the end of Esau's world marks the beginning of Jacob's world. The end of the dark age marks the beginning of the age of light. That's the end thereof. The end of the dark world, not the end of the world. The end of the darkness ruled by the Luciferic beings, mankind and human running around, impersonating man and ruling over you. Done. The finality of it The conclusion of it shall be with a war and desolation, but they shall not come out on top. They shall be destroyed as a result of that war. Who shall get the desolation? Not the people of the Most High, the 144. No way. It's firmly decided. The Most High and the Lord tells you the ending at the beginning, so there's no confusion that your father and the Lord, those Melchizedek, Jehovah, did not tell you what's coming. You know firmly that it's decided in your favor. You, oh my people, shall destroy all their mainstream organized religion, politics, their social structure, and all the stuff built up on darkness. You shall crumble all of it. And the sanctuary that they took from you as part of Egypt, Old Egypt in North Africa, and New Egypt in America, because the sanctuary was here in North America as well. You shall destroy the old one and reinstate your holy sanctuary in Mount Zion. X marks the spot in the middle, the Midwest states of the United States. Who are these 144 elects? Who are these people that are supposed to collect the riches from the bank of heaven, the riches from the Most High and the Lord? Who are they? 3 groups. The first group is the Hebrew indigenous, Iberian people of color, dark-skinned people that were in Spain and Portugal and were banished to the islands of Sao Tome, Principe, Malabo, Cape Verde, Canary Islands. That's off the Guinea coast. So when you hear you're from a Guinea coast slave trade, no, you're not from the landmass of Africa. You were marooned on these islands off the coast of West Africa when you were kicked out of Portugal and Spain. That's the first group. They started coming over with the Spaniards and with the Portuguese, and then the English traders started to buy slaves from the Spaniards and the Portuguese to work on their plantation in the Caribbean and the United States of America. Second group, the Hebrew indigenous Iberian people in Western Europe that voluntarily and involuntarily migrated to North America, Central America, South America, and the Caribbean as indentured servants / slaves. And then some of those that came from Western Europe came as rebels, came as convicts, because they were stirring up too much religious problem. In Western Europe, Protestants and Catholics were fighting against each other, and they had to ship out. Whoever lost the battle, you got shipped. Whoever lost, you got shipped. Where? To the Caribbean, to North America. That's the second batch. And the third batch, the third group, oh my children of Israel, the 10 tribes that were already here. The first 2 are representative of the last 2 tribes that were left in Egypt. And then they scattered out from Egypt to Western Europe. Now the third group, the 10 tribes that were in the United States of America before the colonizers arrived. The Hebrew indigenous Indians, people of color in North America, Central America, South America, the Caribbean that were put into slavery on their own land. Their land was taken and they were put into slavery, some into perpetual slavery, some into short-term slavery, but at the same rate, they lost all their 5 divine laws. They had nothing to stand on their own. They were replaced by the colonizers' laws, whether the law of who you spiritually look up to, Whether your left hand, your community and your social law, whether your right hand, your political law, what laws are going to be used to rule you, or your feed, your economics. You can't use the earth or the land anymore. To sustain yourself, you have to ask for permission to get food from your colonizers and the center of your chest. They weren't giving you the high quality food. No, you were getting the leftovers. You were getting husks. Those are the leftovers that had the bronchitis, disease, and infection in those meat that are of husks that they were giving you. Let's move on because we're going to spend time on the third group because you have to get your land back and it has to be under the way the Most High and the Lord have ordained it. Let's move. And I'm going to tell you that you were on the land. I've already proved that in many other messages. But I want to tell you now who you were worshiping at the time when the colonizers arrived. We go to the history of the American Indians. That's the book you want to spend some time on. You really have to spend some time on that book. James Adair put together that book. Page 164 and 165 of that book, because he spent a lot of time in that book telling you that you were Hebrew, telling you that you were the Israelite, telling you that you were the Israelites that were in North America. When they returned home, victorious over the enemy, they sung a triumphant song. Yod-heh-wah, Yod-heh-wah, Yod-heh-wah-heh. That's why I start my message by saying, greetings to you, Yod-heh-wah-heh. Because the wah can be a va as well. But that's what your ancestors were singing in North America. YHWH. That's the acronym that they were using. Yod-heh-wah-heh. That's the song that they were ascribing to who? To him, the Lord Thoth, Melchizedek Jehovah, and the Most High, according to their what? Religious customs of the Israelites. I'm telling you, you're Israelites. You are not no ordinary people running around as they have told you in menticide time. No, you attribute your success to Jehovah. There was no J, so there is no Jehovah. Jehovah. Yod-heh-wah. That's what they were saying. That's why, again, I could tell you, Yod-heh-wah-oh-heh, because I'm repeating the he. The he has to be repeated after the yod and after the wa, or after the va. It has to be repeated. Yod-heh-wah-heh, Yod-heh-wah-heh. That's who you're worshiping at the time when the colonizers arrived. You were worshiping the Most High. Let's continue on page 165. The leaders went ahead during this triumphant celebration, saying yo, saying he he, saying wah wah, yo he he wah ha. That's what the leaders were saying, embracing the spiritual powers connected with the name of the Most High. Yod he wah he, Yod he wah he. That's your religious custom of the Hebrews, of the Israelites. That's who you were worshiping. You said it 3 times. 3 is the magic numbers for repeating any words to make sure that the spiritual energy connected with that word is embraced and manifests itself. 3 times the triad. 3 times the Trinity. 3 has to be in 1 in order for you to manifest the power of heavens. So you have to say it 3 times. That's what your ancestors were worshiping. They knew the fullness of the connectivity with the Most High. They knew it. They said it 3 times. A strong emblem to the eternity of the Most High and the Lord, to whom they sung their triumphant song. They were giving praises to the Most High. Yah, Yod-heh-wah-oh-heh, Elohim, to his strong arm. We go back to arm. Right arm, left arm. Right arm, left arm. Right arm, political. Left arm, social. That's what your forefathers were giving praises to. Instead of their own, making up their own stuff as we're doing now. Be not wise in your own self-conceit, your own self-ideas, your own self-flawed plans. But be wise in the words of the Most High. Throw yourself out of it, because the mind is carnal to think carnal things. Got to move back to your spiritual energy. Israelites, divine appointment. That's what you're using. The Israelite way of bringing forth the energy of the Most High. That's what the Indians were doing on this land. The Indians of the south portion of America. That's what you were doing. It's a fluke, it's an accident. No, in the beginning it was the Word, and the Word was with the Most High. Allah, YHWH. The Word was the perfect light. You're going to make yourself by connecting Yod, He, Wad, He, Yod, He, Vahu, He, Yod, He, Vav, He. You, him, we, him. He's a part of you, you're a part of him. Yod, He, Wad, He. That's what the Indians were celebrating, were practicing as part of their custom. The one that's connected to the Most High. They didn't know about no white Jesus. No, they didn't know this man. Where did he come from? Who is this white Jesus? They know to look out for Louis, the messenger. Prince Louis, the messenger. Let's get rid of Jesus, that J. Now we go back. We dig in some more. We dig in some more. This is what your forefathers were practicing at the time of their opportunity to worship the Most High in their way, not in the Protestant way, not in the Roman Catholic way, not in any the Pentecostal way, not in any Anglican way, or any other way man might come up with in his own self-conceit. But they were practicing it in its true form. Yod He Wah He. Yod He Wah He. Meaning Yehovah. Meaning you, him, we, him. That's what they were practicing. Know that you had your own ark in this part of the land. You had your own ark in this part of the land in America. It wasn't only in Egypt. You had your ark here. And you sing the same song when you're drawing the energy of the ark. Yo, he, wah, wah. Yo, he, wah, wah. Same energy you're pulling in all the time. Then they went with their holy things in the sacred place of the worshiping of the people of the Most High, the Israelites, the Hebrews that were on the land in America. Dark-skinned, melanated people, black people that got wiped out identically, wiped out identifiably by the laws of man in 1924 when they gave you the Racial Integrity Act. You don't know you were doing any of these, but it was you. You purified yourself and you were fasting, going and doing your religious practices without sustenance all day until sundown. That's the customs that you had at the time when you were practicing your connection to the Most High in the right way. From evening till morning, the women sang, ha, 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 hey. These religious customs were strictly observed. These weren't no fluke, as we're doing right now in our time. That's why the Messiah has to come back and remove all of these things off us and bring us back to the ways of the Most High that we were practicing, that you were practicing on this land. YHWH. That's the Word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and the Word was God. Let's find out why. The name of YHWH is coded within everyone's biological function of your body. It's coded in your body. The name of the Most High is coded within you. Don't you know He's within you and you within Him? That's why it's you, Him, we, Him, because His code is embedded in you. Where is it embedded? Where is it embedded? In your DNA and your RNA in 64 different patterns. It's in your DNA and RNA. So the Most High is within you. Oh, my Israelites, my Hebrews, He's within you. Don't you think for a minute you're not part of the Most High. That's why you keep hearing, seek ye within first. They're telling you there's something inside of you that you need to awaken. Because the code of the Most High is within you. The tetragrammaton of the Father's sacred name is 3 letters. Yod, He, Wad. 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 What were the Indians singing? What were your forefathers chanting? What were your forefathers chanting? Were they chanting Yod-He-Wah? Were they chanting Yod-He-Wah? Is it a different name? Is it a different name? No, it's the same. Yod-He-Wad. Yod-He-Wad. Or you can say Yod-He-Vav. Yod-He-Vav. Either way, the same energy is drawn. Yod equals 10. 10 is the perfect number, not 9 or 11. 10 is the path back to the Most High. 10 is the perfect and the most sacred numbers. It is of the Pythagoras theorem. It is the pi 1.618. It is. Hey, 5 fingers, 5 toes, 5 sacred body, 5 over self body, 5 senses and 2 fishes, 5 barley loaves and 2 fishes, your other 2 senses that come and make you have 7 senses. And the wad is 6. The wad is 6. The wad is 6. That's the number breakout for Yod, He, Wad, He. We'll cover these numbers more as time progresses, but I want to let you know you're coded in your DNA with the number of the Most High and the sound of the Most High. When you make these sounds with these words, it wakes up your DNA and it brings forth the numbers that's needed to make you a perfect union with the Most High. Yod, that connects you to the higher realm. Wad connects you to the lower. He is the string that moves you from top to bottom, from up above to below. You need to travel He in order to connect Yod and Wad. That's why when you say Yod, you have to connect it with He. When you say Wad, you have to connect it with He. Yod, He, Wad, He. That's what I want to leave you with for today on that. Let's move on. Let's move on. When you were here before the colonizers came, and again, I'm talking to the Indians that were in the south, where the holy city, where the covenant land is going to be. You're getting your land back. You abstained from eating of impure things. That's why I keep telling you, go back to Genesis 1 verse 29. That's what the Most High and the Lord recommended for you to eat, so you wouldn't touch impure things, which are called husks, HUSKS, which are parasitic bronchitis and disease found in all meats. They warned you, Shemites. They told you that you are going to be willing, fain to eat husk, all these things, because they took away your 5 divine laws and gave you food that's impure. They know what these things do to you. You abstain from eating impure things. All of your prophets, priests, warriors, chieftains, before you enter any religious duties, you purged yourself. You observe a strict abstinence to any impure things. You didn't eat no meat, no starch, no dairy, no sugar, because you were following Genesis 1 verse 29. And you were especially following Genesis 9 verse 4, which says, the flesh which is of the blood you shall not eat. You were following those laws. Someone knew that if they get you to violate that law, you would be breaking your contract. So that's the first thing that they did, is to make sure you break your contract and pull the knowledge away from the rest of your offspring from knowing that they were breaking the law of the Most High and thereby outside of the covenant, outside of the agreement and the contract with the Most High. Formerly, if any of you did eat in any white people place, and these are not Caucasian people, these were Europeans at that time. Whether you were Caucasian or dark-skinned, you were white classification. That's the distinction they made between Europeans and natives of America. Whenever you eat from any of those houses, it was deemed dangerous sin because they were eating meat with blood. You didn't want to what? Pollute yourself. So you stayed away from eating in their houses and eating their food. That's what they made sure they took away from you. When some of them first corrupted their virtue by drinking what? Our spirituous liquor. You didn't drink liquor. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You didn't drink any of that stuff. You called it what? Bitter water. You didn't drink that trash. You did not drink liquor because you know that it's going to let you stumble. The kingdom of the Most High is not meat nor liquor. It's righteousness and following the laws of the Most High, believing in the Most High. That's the way back to the Most High, and to love your fellow man and woman as you love yourself. Do unto your fellow man and woman that which you would want them to do unto you. That's what you were practicing. You weren't eating meat and drinking bitter water. No, you were not. The Indian, on page 134, the Indians, through a strong principle of religion, abstain by the strictest manner from eating the blood of animals, whether cooked or uncooked, doesn't matter. You weren't eating any uncooked meat to begin with. So no, Leviticus is not telling you anything about cooked versus uncooked. You had to have a priest in order to make that sin sacrifice using the meat. That's the only time the meat can be eaten in small portion, when they were doing the sin offering. The Most High knew during your time of weakness that you were going to succumb to the white man's meat, the European's meat, dark-skinned European and Caucasian Europeans giving you meat. But a priest have to be there in order to make sure that blood has been sanctified out of that flesh as a proper sin offering. Have you seen any high priest running around for Israel anytime lately? Have you seen any high priest running around over the years sanctifying any meat? The only thing you see are the Jewish, their rabbi doing kosher. Do you, as people of color, the true Hebrew Israelite, have any high priest sanctifying any meat? No, you're not. This is what your ancestors knew. These things made them impure. Made them impure. When the English traders have been making sausages mixed with hog's blood, I observed the Indian cast their eyes in horror. What the hell these people are doing? Horror! My father, what are these people doing with sausage and hog blood? That's what they were giving themselves to eat, and that's what they eventually compelled you to eat. Offer blood to break your strict, strong principle of eating no blood of any animals, because the blood is in the flesh. No matter how much you squeeze and wring it out and burn it, put it in fire, you could even put it in a volcano. The blood is still in the flesh. The blood, the essence of it is in the flesh. So even though the blood drains out, the energy associated with the blood, not the physical, the spiritual energy associated with that animal is still in the flesh. Which brings us to Romans 11 verse 26. And so all my Israelites have told you that you were in America, oh Israelites. You are the ones I'm talking to now. And the ones that joined you from category 1 and 2. All you shall be saved, as it's written in your contract. You shall be saved. It's not a if or maybe or whatever. No, it's written in your contract, and the contract shall be honored. There shall come one out of Zion, the deliverer. The Zion, the deliverer. Prince Louis, the Messiah, Son of Man, Michael, Israel, David, Elijah. I shall send you Elijah before that great and dreadful day. Ishmael, Emmanuel, the waster, Son of Righteousness. Oh, Jesus is really Lessus, which is Louis. All the same name. That deliverer shall come and move you out of where you are now and bring you back to where you were before the colonizers came over here and disrupted all of what you have going on, all of what you had going on. He shall turn away all that ungodliness that you have taken on over those many hundreds of years. He shall turn it away from you, O Jacob, because Israel is the 144,000. Israel is the 144,000. Testament of Asher 7 verse 3 tells you the same thing as well. The Most High shall visit the earth when he sends his Messiah, that man, Prince Louis, who shall come forth, squash the head of Dagon, squash the head of the reps, squash the head of the dragon, and free up the people during the time of water, which is Aquarius. That man with the pitcher of water shall pour out all that etheric energy on you, oh Israel, and wake up your DNA that has the code of YHWH, Yod-He, Wad-He, Yod-He, Vahu-He, Yod-He, Vav-He, you him, we him, and shall turn on your perfect light. Give you back the word. The word was with the Most High, and the Most High is within you. He will redeem Israel, the people of Israel, back to who they were. This deliverer moves us back again to the three groups. This is the group of people that make up the 144,000. Israel is within these groups. They were all part of the slave trade. They were all part of the slavery that took place in North America. They were all part of it. None of them escaped it. They were all part of the slavery. American descendants of slaves. ADOS. So if you are a descendant of these groups, it's talking about you. You shall be put into that servitude affliction for 400 years. Part of it involuntary. The other voluntary is when you got removed and emancipated from slavery. You were put under a voluntary because you still didn't get back your 5 divine laws. You cannot operate or exist Anywhere outside of those five, anyone who controls those five, your head, who you worship, who you pull your energy from, they control you. If they control your left hand, tell you where and how you can live, who you can socialize with, they control you. If they control your right hand, your laws, they can make laws against you anytime and bring you back to servitude. If they control your feet, which is your economics, you're dead in the water. You got no money. You got no money to sustain yourself. And if they control that chest, which is your food, what you eat, then you are going to be given impure things to make your body rejected by the Spirit, by the Holy Spirit that's looking for an anointed body. They're going to give you bitter water to drink a whole bunch of alcohol. They're going to give you starch that's going to clog up your arteries and create mucus in your body. They're going to give you sugar. They're going to give you sugar to make sure that your intestines are sugarized, which leads to diabetes, which leads to your pancreas being overworked, which leads to the natural insulin your body produces being overworked. They're going to give you all these sugar, all these food that you can end up overeating, stressing out your digestive system. They're going to give you dairy when they know, and they've done studies to show that the people of color are lactose intolerant. They cannot digest dairy. They cannot digest milk. Handbook of Natural Healing, How to Get Well by Dr. Pavo Eriola. If your ancestors are from Africa, I say if your ancestors are from Africa, if your ancestors are American Indians, if your ancestors are American Indians, your body is not programmed to digest milk. Your body is not programmed to digest milk. I say it again. Your body is not programmed to digest milk. 75% of American blacks have been found to be intolerant to milk, have been found to be intolerant to milk, but yet still milk is being given to you every day. But 400 years you shall go through all those things in your sojourning, your temporary stay. That's what sojourning means, O children of Israel. You'll be living via tents, no permanent place, even though you think you're living permanently now. That's not how you should be living. That's not how you were living before the colonizers came. You had huge commerce, big houses, all the land for yourself. So you're squatting on your own land. And that's you who dwelt in Egypt, not the old Egypt over there in North Africa. No, the new Egypt is America. Everyone knows that. It's just kept from us that Egypt, the modern day Egypt, now in America. It was the old Egypt before they moved it to North Africa. They're moving it back to North America. 400 years in North America. You'll go through that. Calculating it based on 360 days per year. Israelites, Hebrew, you don't use 365. That's man-made by the Roman Catholic. You don't use man days. You use the days of the Most High and the Lord. 360 days. But your sojourning will wind down from October 31st, 2013 through April 14th, 2044. That's when your 30 years of restoration period will last for. But don't feel for a second that you're going to be under what you're under right now up until 2044. No, not a chance. No, not a chance. If I don't cut time short, there will be no flesh left. But for the sake of my elect, I shall cut this time short and make a quick work of Lucifer and the human and the mankind and get them out of the way. So my spiritual kingdom shall develop and start in Mount Zion, and my people shall be delivered and come forth as the righteous seed to live righteously in the eyes of the Most High Allah. YHWH. Elohim, and in the eyes of the Lord, Thoth, Melchizedek, Jehovah. Let's move on. Genesis 15, verse 13, tells you who these people are, the 144,000. No, for surety, Thoth. That's why I keep telling you, Thoth is in the Bible. You shall know who he is. Your seed shall be a stranger in a land. Thoth again. Why is that in italics? Why is that in italics? Can you answer that for me? Why all the words on this page? Only that is in italics. Been telling you your Bible is anagrammed, and they leave themselves clues to know where to check out for the anagram. Thoth, why everywhere in the Bible you see that is in italics? Because they changed the name of the Lord from Thoth to that. That's an anagram. But it doesn't matter how many times you change the name and how many italics you made out of it. Wherefore it is Thoth you do ask after my name. Wherefore it is Thoth you do ask after my name. You shall know his name, and you shall be blessed by the Lord Thoth. Wherefore it is Thoth you do ask after my name. Wherefore it is Thoth you do ask after my name. Genesis 32 verse 29. Now Acts 2 verse 21. Thoth it shall come to pass, Thoth whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord, Thoth shall be saved. It didn't say may be saved or probably saved. It says shall be saved. That's why they kept the name a secret from you. They did not want you to call upon the name of the Lord, Thoth, Melchizedek, Jehovah. Acts 2 verse 21. Thoth whosoever shall call my name shall be saved. Whosoever call it shall be saved. But we're not done as yet. Psalm 7 verse 6. Oh Lord, in your anger for those who change your name, all the enemies of the children of Israel, the children of Judah, the children of Jacob, who changed the name and kept you from them. Awake, I say, oh Lord, Thoth. Awake, I say, in your judgment. Thoth, you have commanded it. Thoth, you have commanded the judgment for all the wicked who changed the name. John 1 verse 9. Thoth was the true light. Thoth was the true light. Thoth was the true light, which lighteth every man and woman that cometh into this world. You cannot keep the Lord Thoth from the people anymore. Thoth shall be found written in the scriptures of truth. Thoth shall be found written in the scriptures of truth. Can't keep him hidden anymore. You shall be a stranger in a land that Thoth is not there. They're not worshiping Thoth. They're not acknowledging Thoth as the Lord of the Bible because they changed his name and gave you that. And shall serve them which are the eagles. If you go back to the book of Jubilees, that gives you the more detailed story of this verse, you will see where Abraham is fanning away the birds off the carcass. That's why you can tie back in now to know that they are the eagles who were feeding on the carcass, because you're matching it with Matthew 24 verse 28, which tells you, for wheresoever the necros are, for wheresoever the people who are dead are, wheresoever the people they call Negro, to switch up the word necro, wherever they are, which are the dead people, the carcass, there will the eagles be gathered. The Romans, the European Romans that migrated over to North America and enslaved the people that were on the land and made them a stranger to their own land and a stranger to the Lord Thoth, which they keep changing to that. There is no that. The eagles shall afflict them for 400 years. Make no mistake. These are the 144,000. 144,000 divided by 360 gives you what? 400 years. It's the people that's in that procession of time. That 400 years, all the people that were afflicted during that circumference of time. That's the 144,000 that are going to be delivered and be the people of the righteous seed. It doesn't mean it's 144,000 people. It means the group of people that were afflicted within that 400 years. The Bible coded them as a 144,000. Those are the ones that will be first resurrected and delivered when that great sign occurs, to show you how the 400 years is used to keep you in that affliction. I'm going to demonstrate this to you. On the back of your $1 bill, if you trace it, you look very carefully, and you look, you'll see the Egyptian star, a 13-point star, on the back of your dollar bill. So the forefathers of America knew of these prophecies, knew of the energy associated with the 13 points. 13 points cover 400 years. And they know once you start that wheel, you're going to maintain power for 400 years. And then what they're trying to do now, because that 400 years ended in 2013, they're trying to spin the wheel one more time, because the Most High work on a 144,000 day cycle. And that's what's being used against you right now. When you see all these 13 on your dollar bill, those are the symbologies that are capturing the energy to keep that 400 years going when these money was created, and to also spin that 400 year one more time from 2013 for the next 400. But the Most High says, no, that's not going to happen. Not going to happen. So that's what is being worked on you right now. Let's get into it some more. 144,000 under the Mayan count. You were the Mayans. These were Hebrew Israelites, Hebrew people that were taught, and the knowledge was passed down into Central America all the way up the coast of North America. They knew about the 144,000. Everyone that's in the world that's being run by the Hebrew Israelite, all these nations with the exception of Rome in the latter days, were under the rulership of the Hebrew Israelites, and they used 360 days. No one used a 365.25 calendar. That came when the Romans got overran by the wicked, by the Luciferic forces, and started to make change in times and laws to throw you off as what Daniel had identified to you. But we, as the Hebrew Israelites, know about the 144,000 days. That's the time clock the Most High uses. That 400 years by Jubilees. A Jubilee is 50 years. 5 times 8 is 400. 8 Jubilees, that's a 400 years again. So there are 2 ways you can get the 400 years. But the 400 years is a circumference of time when you maintain power. An empire, if you know how to work the arts and the energy, you can run that empire for 400 years by drawing the energy force associated within the universe itself. The universe grants you 144,000 days to keep that energy going. But now we're moving into the time of light, where a new one has to start, which is under light, and you can keep that light going for 400, 400, 400. They cannot go into that new circumference of time with darkness. Nope, cannot. Once the water bearer comes, all bets are off. So what was happening? Leviticus 25:10 was being used to recharge that energy every 50 years whenever they should let you free, because Leviticus 25:10 says, during that 400 years, after 50 years, every man shall be proclaimed free. He shall get back his land. He shall inhabit his own land again after 50 years. It shall be a jubilee. You shall return him to his possessions, every man. You shall give him back what is after 50 years. You shall return him to his family after 50 years. That's what a jubilee is. But were you returned every 50 years? No! A new energy was drawn on every jubilee to circumvent that law and to reinstate you back into slavery. 8 times it was done until it reached 2013. Know for a surety, O Abraham. Know for a surety. Know for a surety, O Abraham. No thought we're going to give you the knowledge, O Abraham. Look now towards the heaven, the higher consciousness, the higher intelligence, and tell the stars, not looking up and trying to find planets and all kind of thing. No, number your Egyptian star, that 13-point star, to know that 144,000 circumference, to know the different jubilees, that things will be used against your seed. If you can do that, so your seed is going to go through that time of the 13-point star and the jubilees being used against them. Genesis 15 verse 5. This is the star that was used against you for those 8 jubilees for 400 years. Once you match up the events that were occurring during those 50-year intervals, you have to, people, tie yourself back to the Son of Man, Elijah, Prince Louis. The Son of Man is given all the knowledge of the Most High and the Lord. None shall knoweth these truths except Michael, your prince. So you have to tie yourself back to the Son of Man, Michael, aka Elijah, aka Prince Louis, so you can know the truth. Prince Louis was cut off, so I'm directing you back to him. But this is all the things that occurred during those 400 years. Every 50 years, something is passed to keep you firmly fixed in that perpetual slavery, whether voluntary or involuntary. We'll stop here for this message, and we'll pick it up in part 2 of this message, where we continue the journey of the 144,000 in the United States of America. Stand strong, O children of Israel. Stand strong, O children of Judah. Stand strong, O children of Jacob, in the name of the Most High, Allah, YHWH, Elohim, God in our modern day, and in the name of the Lord Thoth, Melchizedek, who shall deliver us from the hands of the wicked and bring us into the kingdom of the Most High. Mount Zion, praise to you forever and forever, always.